Time for an American Family News Update. I'm Bronson Woodruff. After months of tense negotiations, the U.S. and Ukraine signed a deal that is expected to give Washington access to the country's critical minerals and other natural resources. An agreement that Kyiv hopes will secure long-term support for its defense against Russia. According to Ukrainian officials, the version of the deal signed Wednesday is far more beneficial to Ukraine than previous versions. They said previous versions reduced Kyiv to a junior partner and gave Washington unprecedented rights to the country's resources. The deal itself has not yet been made public, but the Economy Ministry and the Prime Minister's office have offered some details. The Ukrainian parliament must ratify the agreement. It would establish a reconstruction fund for Ukraine that Ukrainian officials hope will be a vehicle to ensure future American military assistance. Kuwait has released an additional 10 American detainees, bringing nearly two dozen the total number freed by the country in the past 2 months. U.S. officials said this on Wednesday. Done as a goodwill gesture by U.S. ally, the pardons of 23 Americans have brought a quick succession of prisoner releases in the early months of the Trump administration. The AFN has sought in the early months to make hostage and detainee issues a foreign policy priority. The prisoners are both men and women. They include military contractors and veterans held for years on drug charges and other offenses by the small oil-rich nation. One of them was said by supporters to have been coerced into signing a false confession and endured physical violence and threats against his wife and daughter. Senate Republicans voted down a Democratic resolution Wednesday that would have blocked global tariffs announced by President Trump last month. The vote was 49-49. Mitch McConnell and Democratic Senator Sheldon Whitehouse were absent Wednesday. They would have undoubtedly given Democrats the votes needed for victory. Democrats said their primary aim was to put Republicans on the record either way and to try to reassert congressional powers. Former Vice President Kamala Harris gave a speech in San Francisco on Wednesday night. She used it to sharply criticize President Donald Trump as speculation continues about whether or not she will mount another presidential campaign or run for California governor. It was her most extensive public remarks since leaving office in January, following her defeat to Trump. Harris said that she's inspired by Americans fighting Trump's agenda. Trump went after Harris in a campaign-style rally Tuesday, marking his 100th day in office. He sarcastically called her a great border czar and a great candidate. That's a wrap for this American Family News Update. More on the stories you just heard, as well as additional stories from a Christian perspective, can be found on our website, afn.net. That is afn.net. Thank you for watching American Family News. I'm Bronson Woodruff.